Hi YouTubers, I apologize for the lighting. It's been a rainy day, and for space considerations I really need to do this review outside. So in the fading light I've set up an external light source that I think will be adequate. The review today is on my AR-15, my custom AR that I built. It's for sale. I'll also be going over this Haley Strategic D3 chest rig in a separate video, and I'll be going over my custom Glock in a separate video. So before we handle any guns, I'm going to shut the video off and remove all the live ammunition from the area completely. Welcome back. And before we handle anything, we'll check to make sure it's clear. This is a yellow flag. You can see it's going right down the chamber. We'll just leave that in there for now. No magazine in. Before I remove this sling, this tactical link sling, let me show you a few features of it. This is called a tri-glide, and it allows you to go from a single point to a two-point sling, which is quite nice when you have a long carbine day. It distributes the load differently on your shoulder and neck. It makes it quite comfortable. This sling attachment can be moved anywhere. I did not Loctite this in case you wanted to move it in a different spot. I did not Loctite these screws either in case you needed to remove this handguard to add in your rails. You can see I have it very Spartan with nothing but a sling attachment, no rails on here, but it's very easy to add rails if you wanted to do so. So let me just take this off and put it to one side. Quick release. Quick release. I might want to add, it does have bungees, but it's very, very, very stiff bungee. Not like those cheap bungees you get with the very inexpensive slings. The sling is, I believe, is over $100. I can't remember the price. It's very expensive. And it goes into a single point sling attachment from the Ace company that was an add-on to this stock arrangement. And I'll go over the stock later. Let's start with the most important part. Let me move this in a little closer. And that would be the barrel. That's basically where I start with a gun. And this is made by Voodoo Innovations. It's 16.5 inches in length. And it's unusual in the fact that it is a rifle length gas system. Gas block is right here. It is a Keese adjustable gas block. I have some Loctite on the adjustment screw. It does move, but it never goes out of adjustment. Once it's adjusted, it just stays there. I've used these many times in the past and had great luck with them. I have a Keese melanated gas tube. Oh, the block itself is extremely well melanated, very, very good quality. It's pretty hard to see in there. Let's see. Sort of get an idea. The gas block is bedded with Loctite 620. If you look up the characteristics of that, that's made for cylindrical objects to bed them. The screws themselves are Loctited with 620 as well. The gas tube is Loctited with 620. And I might want to mention that the gas tube is attached with Keese with the Keese gas tube. They have a proprietary little screw, and it's very tiny. And should you ever need to remove that, you're going to need a lot of heat from a heat gun, possibly a torch, and a special little needle-like Allen key, which I'll supply with the gun. I don't anticipate this gas block ever needing to come off. That's why I have it secured so well. This is a clamp-on. It will never move. It's not a set screw. There's no need for dimples. It's torqued down quite severely, and is as good as any pinned-on gas block. I'll stake my reputation on that. I've put pipe wrenches, padded pipe wrenches on these before in the past, and just not being able to budge them. They're there for life until you put a heat gun on and remove them. A muzzle device is made by PWS. It's a variation of their 5.56. It's just a 5.56 with a little flash hider tangs cut off to make it smaller and lighter. And it's called the TTO, or Todd's Tiny One. Todd is the owner of the company. This was originally a custom-made version for him, and everyone wanted one so much they decided to produce one, and it's now in their catalog. It's melanited, and the most effective muzzle brake I've had for its size and weight. It's just incredible. Now, the muzzle brake doesn't have to be that effective for this gun because it's such a soft shooter to begin with. In fact, it is the softest shooter I've ever experienced, and my range officers at Nexus Shooting have ever experienced. No one's ever shot anything that's recoiled so soft. And it's been a number of builds before I was able to get to this point. And I think you'll see why when I open this up. We've got such a soft shooter. First of all, it's a rifle gas system. Second of all, it's got a special buffer in it made by a company called KinShot. I'm gonna have to pause this for a while I get a little tool to get this out. Hi guys, back again. This is the KinShot hydraulic buffer. It is a rifle length buffer. We have a rifle length tube here. And on the front, I've put a little Delrin pad with an adhesive that was from a different company, just to protect the face. And you can see the pad isn't even scuffed up. It's quite tough. Looks like the day I put it on. Not that this rifle has had many rounds through it, maybe about 200. The spring is from JP Enterprises, and it is polished and quite expensive as far as springs go. It's rifle length. I think it was about $20. And I got both these items from a company called No Kick, whose items generally are geared towards reducing recoil. And I gotta say, very effective combination between the barrel, the muzzle brake, and this buffer system. It's just, you can let off a string of 30 rounds, you know, at 21 feet, and just keep them all in a very small circle, probably about that size. At rapid fire, as fast as you can pull the trigger, the barrel just stays put. It's quite enjoyable to shoot, even though it doesn't have a huge butt pad area. That's just not necessary because you're just not feeling much felt recoil, and certainly very little to any muzzle rise. Let me show you how well this, well, while I have it apart, let's get into the guts of it. WMD company, full polished nickel boron, Nibex they call it, I believe. I just have a little slight smear of rem oil on this, and a slight smear of rem oil on the rails. That's all it takes. I've repolished this since it's been shot. It does tend to tarnish a bit from gunpowder. And if you want to keep it shiny, just put a little flitz on it. Otherwise, just let it get a patina. It doesn't make that much difference in how it performs. But I like the way it looks, so I put a polish on it. I have a Raptor, actually with a Noveski trademark on it, but it is a Raptor. Ambidextrous charging handle. All my controls on this are ambidextrous, and the reason being, I train half the time with my left hand, since I'm right-handed, and half the time with my right hand. Reason being, if you were ever injured in a gunfight, you darn well better be sure not only to shoot accurately with your offhand, but do manipulations of your AR-15 with your offhand. So I practice clearing malfunction drills, I practice magazine drills, everything that I would normally do right-handed, I practice all those drills left-handed. Before we put this together, let's show you my Hyperfire trigger. This is the best trigger you can get as far as I'm concerned. I've had a few Geisleys. I've had the SD3G, and this is a true single stage. It has multiple different springs available that come with it, and that would come with it if you purchase this gun. I have the medium springs in right now, and it's about a 3.8 pound pull. I won't pull it here. I'll assemble it and pull it. It's just no take up, no over travel, no creep. About a 2mm reset. It's just ridiculous. What's unusual about this is this hammer actually increases in pressure and speed as it goes towards the striker. In fact, the lightest trigger pull is 2.5 pounds, the lightest springs, and that also is the heaviest hammer fall. Supposedly, now I don't shoot surplus military ammo. I only shoot Freedom munitions and PMC bronze. So I wouldn't know about that, but it will light off any primer that you come across. It's just an incredible trigger. It has an adjustable shoe. I have it adjusted on its bottommost setting. And it looks funky, but let me tell you, it's nice, because your finger always goes to the same place every time. Hear how smooth that is? Incredibly smooth action. But this trigger is unbelievable. There's no, watch it, no, maybe a 1/4 millimeter take up, if that. No take up. Reset. Look at that. A couple millimeters at most. And the reset is the same as where the trigger lies normally. There's no travel after the reset. It's a pretty amazing piece. I won't use any other trigger for my builds from now on, since I've discovered this. And I've tried a lot of different triggers, and this is expensive, about $250, worth every penny. Going back to the controls, we have ambidextrous safety, long on this side, short on this side, so it doesn't interfere with your finger. You'll notice something different about this safety. It's only 45 degrees. You think, well, what's the big deal? 45 degrees. Once you've had one, you never want to use anything else. It's just an unbelievable treat not to have to crank it that extra distance. It doesn't sound like anything you'd want. I tried it. It's expensive, especially in the ambi form. Again, it's worth it for what it does and makes your life easier. It's like air conditioning in your car. Do you need it? Not really. Is it nice to have on a hot day? Yes. Same thing with all these additions. Makes your life easier, makes your manipulations easier. In a stress situation, you're much less likely to screw up. And a stress situation can be in competition. This is basically designed for competition. It can be a home defense gun. You can see from the large magazine well, it just sucks up magazines like crazy. I'll stop this video and get an empty magazine to show you that in a minute. First of all, before we do that, let's go into the ambi bolt release. This particular brand, Tactical Link, seems to work best for me. I like Phase 5 too, which is an integral system. This is an add-on system. These are Loctited. These will not come apart probably, and you'll strip these out unless you add heat to remove them. It's completely sturdy. Any movement is the movement of the actual tab underneath, bolt release tab. And it's clamped on very, very securely. It's just not, it's never going to come off. I like it just as much releasing the bolt as I do for bolt holdback. Instead, I do not have to take my hand away from the pistol grip to hold the bolt back. I use my left hand. I'm working here in my pocket like this, or against my pectoral muscle. I pull the charging handle back and I lift up, and my bolt is open. This is particularly good for clearing malfunctions. I always load from an open bolt to ensure that there's no resistance on the top round of the magazine. You know when you load 30 rounds on a PMag, there's a lot of resistance if you load on an open bolt. I like loading on a closed bolt. I like loading on an open bolt, checking to see if the magazine is secure, pulling out on it. If it's not pulling out, and I let that go, that round is chambering. I'm telling you, every time, at least with this gun. Okay, I'm going to stop it here and get the magazine, an empty magazine, and show you a little bit about the ambi mag release. All right, I'm back again. Make sure any ammo hasn't mysteriously jumped inside the gun while it was gone. This is made by Ariando. It's an add-on. It looks a little funky if you don't like it. A couple screws, actually 3 screws, and it's off. It's on there very securely. Well, a little wobble. You could put some tape in there, but I don't notice that. Especially when I go to hold this, it's quite firm. I would just leave that alone. It's quite nice to hold this. You have finger grooves built into this. And I recommend that you try this out before you do anything hastily and get rid of it. I really, really like this mag well. It's not so wide that I think it couldn't serve as a tactical mag well, and certainly can serve as a competition mag well. I've seen some competition mag wells that are just ridiculously wide that were just untenable in a tactical situation. It's just too big if you have your gun slung. This gun slings nicely and you don't notice this flare at all. But you can see, you go in there from any kind of position and it sucks it up like a big old grouper sucking up a minnow. We have a Troy ambidextrous mag release, plenty of clearance. Take your left finger when you're shooting left-handed, push it, your magazine drops free. Go back to the stock. It's made by Ace. It has a foam covering. It's very comfortable for cheek weld, and it's at the right height for all of the optics that I have on here. We have a rubberized butt pad and a minimalist stock. Now, I did have a Cobra weave on this. It was an ugly color and I took it off. Just didn't look good with the gun. I couldn't find the paracord that I had that was in black, and then I had another length in burnt bronze, and that would have been a nice combination for this gun. If it does show up, I will weave a Cobra link for this. I'm not a macrame sort of guy. I just went to a YouTube video and followed it step by step, and it's well, it's not easy. I can't memorize how to do this, but it's certainly not hard. If you find a YouTube video, anybody can do this. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So if you're set on putting some sort of webbing in between here, just go to YouTube and get your own colors of paracord and do it yourself. I wound one strand around here, one strand through here, and I built this up with a few strands and then melted it off, so the end stayed down here and didn't slide up. I just built this area up with about three wraps of paracord. I think this end was here, and it was it's really ugly. It's just I'm not a green person. That's what I had on hand at the time, and I wanted to see if I could do it, and it's certainly a viable option. Or I can just leave it the way it is. Optics. Let's go over the optics. We have a primary arms, red dot, very clear red dot, very bright, even in bright sunlight. Very good characteristics. It's not starburst unless you have astigmatism like me, and I have a little bit of starburst to it. But you put it through a camera and it's quite round, or an eye without astigmatism. It's waterproof, shockproof. These have proven themselves. This is not the 50,000 hour, it's a 1,000 hour model, but it's the most recent one and quite new. In fact, everything on this gun was 6 months old or less, except for this primary arms. This has just been kicking around. I hardly ever use this, and these little wear marks are from just sliding around in my box. I've only used this a couple times, but I thought I would include it with this gun because it really does add a nice magnification feature. If you're shooting out to 100 yards, it's nice to have a 3 times magnification. This is the extended eye relief model. The eye relief is around, I think it's a little less than 3 inches, around 3 inches, right about here. Most of the other models, it's only about an inch or so, and it's just too tight. These little controls are to center the dot. Right now it's fairly well centered. It is a flip to the side. It's not absolutely rock solid, but it's good enough. And any motion in here obviously is not gonna change your point of aim at all. And I just don't notice any movement in the field when I've used it. There's just 1/2 millimeter of slop, if that. 1/4 millimeter maybe. It's really quite sturdy. You push forward, push it to the side. Now the nice thing about an add-on optic is if you know you're going to be shooting most of the day at 50 yards or less, you take this off with a quick release and put it in your pocket, and you don't have that extra weight on here. Now how much does this gun weigh? A little over 6 pounds with the optic. And that is where I think the gun shines. I've seen $2,000 and $3,000 guns that do not have ambi controls like this and weigh 7 pounds. They're just too heavy. And that's where this gun shines. A lot of weight is saved in this carbon fiber forend by AP Customs. And I stake my life on this. This thing is just a brick. There is no flex to this whatsoever. It is rock solid. I've used these in many other builds. I've beat the crap out of them. I've never had a problem with AP Customs. It's cooler to shoot. It cools off faster. I can't say enough good things about carbon fiber handguards. I stopped using metal handguards. This is not designed to be a key lock or a M-lock system, but I think M-lock products will work on these. This is not M-lock. This is just an old-fashioned screw with a backing plate, and it is also made by AP Customs and can be moved anywhere on the gun. I have it here right now. It seems to be a good place. I like a completely clear forend for me to put my hand anywhere I want up here. I don't like stuff hanging off it. But if you're the sort of person that likes lasers and flashlights and God knows what, there's plenty of rail here, all 15 inches of it, to hang whatever you want off. Any kind of rail will fit. Any kind of Picatinny rail, basically, with a curve to it. Even the Magpul ones, I believe, fit. That's about it. Oh, the grip. I've gone through about probably, I don't know, 12, 15 grips. And I don't like the hard grips, any of the hard grips. I don't like the way they feel. This is a hoe grip. It's not what you call a soft grip like the Ergo ones. The Ergo ones are squishy. This is actually hard rubber. It has almost no give to it, but just enough where it's kind of sticky. Well, not sticky, but very, very non-skid. Your hand isn't going anywhere. It does not have any finger grooves. I just feel that when you're going to get a gun, you just spend that extra time kind of orienting yourself to the finger grooves. And as a result, I really don't like them. I don't mind finger grooves in a Glock, which is a much longer grip. But in these short grips, I just like the smooth hoe. I have an extra large hand. This is a medium-sized grip. I like medium-sized grip. This will fit basically any hand. It's actually, I don't know if it's on the small side or not, but it's certainly not a large grip, but comfortable for a guy with extra large hands. Yes, one more thing, a couple more things. The dust cover is a real functioning dust cover. It has little edges to it that actually go in and completely seal off dust and debris, fine dust. And it's not one of those ugly, scrappy things that look like it's made from old rusty razor blades. I just don't like the metal, the steel, or even the aluminum dust covers. So they're ugly as sin. This is Delrin or some sort of polymer, and it's very, very nice. It comes in all sorts of designs if you want different grooves or dimples. I think there's some logos on there. I just got the plain one, and it's just the best. Really like it. It's also a system where you do not have a solid bar that goes through here. It's inserted with just little spring-loaded. It's the easiest system I've ever used to insert a sorry, I was out of frame there. To insert a dust cover. These are spring-loaded here, and that's spring-loaded there. It's made by Strikefire Industries, I believe. And I can't say enough good things about this dust cover. I know some people are going, meh. Once you have one again, you'll probably not want to, probably want to use one again in another build. If I had to do this all over again, I would probably build this the same way. I've done a number of builds, and I finally got the level of recoil, or lack thereof, that I wanted with this gun, and the lightness, the weight. This is Aero Precision 7075 receiver. It's not polymer. The upper is not matching, but it fits perfectly. I think it's Delton, and it has. Does it have T markings? It has T markings. They're not colored. You could add color if you want. They're deep enough engraved that the T markings would take color if you wanted them to. This receiver is special in the fact that it has a little groove here that's designed to take the battle arms development short throw safety. And the markings on here are special that this will take either a conventional safety or a short throw safety. This particular one is 45 degrees. And there's only a few companies that make receivers like this, and Aero Precision is my favorite receiver company, and they happen to make a short throw version. Really like these receivers. Aero Precision's been making receivers for different companies for many, many years, and they have probably more experience than anybody of making mil-spec lower receivers. Of course, this whole would not be considered mil-spec, but there's no flares and anything. This will take all mil-spec parts. One thing you're not going to get is these discontinued extended pins. You will get regular pins. I would like to keep these because you can't find these anymore. I think YHM makes a phosphated version. These are nice and salt bath nitrided or melanite coated, and I just like them too much. Some people don't even like them, so I don't know if it'll be missed if I take them off. But these are staying. That's the only thing that's going to stay with the gun, or stay with me rather. Just to get you another look at the inside. And here. Okay, I hope this wasn't too boring. I hope it wasn't too long. My idea was to make this as quick as possible to get across all the components, what they do, why I use them, and why you might like them, and why you will like them if you ever shoot this gun. It is amazing. It has about 200 rounds down it, and the bore is clean, completely free of copper. I have 2 aggressive copper cleaners that I used, and it has a light coating of REM oil. The bore is melanited and good for, probably will outlast any chrome line bore. If you want to see what the barrel looks like, it has an interesting profile. It shoots out to past 500 yards, but they've done a lot of 500-yard work with this. It is the barrel that the Adams Arms shooting team uses, and this profile is becoming more popular because they're finding out you don't need big, heavy machine gun barrels to maintain good shot groups. It does not string. They could not make this to string, if you know what that word means. That means when the barrel gets hot, it'll actually vertically string your shots. That's not the case with this barrel. With 90 rounds put through it as fast as possible, the point of aim shifts 1 inch at 200 yards and stays there, and all your groupings will be just 1 inch different. I can't shoot within 1 inch accuracy at 200 yards, so I'm not too worried about this. This barrel will not let you down. I really like it for its lightweight, its ruggedness. It's all melanited, or life coat is what they call it, and it's M4 profile like all the other barrels. And I didn't point it out, but the upper also has perfectly matching M4 profiles in the upper. There's a seamless transition between the barrel receiver and the upper grooves. It's a great fit. Okay, I'm back again. I'm going to put a little light on the subject. I know we had a lighting problem. You can see it's brand new. It's got no scratches, no nicks. It's just been assembled, shot 4 times, 200 rounds, cleaned thoroughly. There isn't a speck of carbon anywhere. You can figure brand new with a break-in period. You can contact me through personal messaging on YouTube, and I'll give you further contact information should you want this weapon. I've got probably, I want to say $1,600 into this. Be willing to sell it for considerably less, which is a bargain because it's basically brand new. So please contact me if you have any interest in this. Big Dave out. This is Big Dave back. I know I signed out, but I couldn't let it go to explain, safety check, to explain how well this gun handles and why it handles well and why it's so fun to shoot beyond the recoil, the lack of recoil issues. All the mass is centrally located on this gun. We have very little mass up here, very little mass forward. The balance point is probably right here. It's a full weight carrier coming in, and the whole gun coming in at just a little over 6 pounds. Didn't have to resort to a low mass carrier. So we have all our weight right here, especially when you add a magazine. It makes swinging the gun very easy. And it's also quick to stop because you don't have a big 6-ounce muzzle brake on the end, like I see on some guns. And that just doesn't lend itself well to transitioning between target to target, because you think of a pendulum effect. You've got, you know, a lead brick on the end of your muzzle, and you tend to overswing when you're moving your gun fast. And this is only a couple ounces. Doesn't weigh much more than a A2 flash hider. So you can actually hold the gun with one hand very easily because it's not barrel heavy. And I've shot this gun one-handed just to see if I could do it, and it's quite controllable. Quite proud of this gun if you haven't noticed already. I'll miss it, but I can build another. Big Dave out until I remember something else I forgot. Hopefully that's it. Peace and love. Yeah, it's me again. Sorry, the rain really messed my train of thought up, all the trouble it gave me today. And I do have one more item. It's not that important, but it's something pretty nice that I have that I've never seen before. And that's a set of lens caps for the 3x magnifier. And they're clear lens caps. You could use them actually with them installed. So when you go to put this in your pocket, or your vest pocket when you're out shooting, should you not want the weight on your rifle, you have a nice protected lens system. You don't have to put it in any kind of pouch. Just kind of shove it in a free pocket. And these covers come with the primary arms, extended relief, 3x magnifier.